So you know the Friday movies, right?
Yeah, it's my shit.
There since the movie came out, I had it on VHS back in the day. Since the first Friday movie came out, there's one part of the movie that bothers me to my core that I have thought about pretty religiously throughout my life.
Okay.
And that's when beginning of the movie, Craig gets woken up by the women pounding on the door, right? Then he's going to eat breakfast. Okay? Gets the bowl, pours the cereal, grabs the milk out the fridge, goes and sits down. There's no milk. How did you not know that there was no milk when you got it out the fridge?
You better put some water on that shit.
But no, you notice how like he grabbed the milk
You have to feel the weight of it. 100%.
and like you walked to the table, sat down, was so excited, then there's no milk. When is the moment you picked it up, you'd be like, fuck. Did you think the milk was just gonna appear?
I mean, it's first and foremost, it's a movie. Secondly, I'd much rather eat dry cereal than put water on. I want to be clear.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like it's cool, bro. I
That is
could
the worst thing is putting water on cereal.
put some water. Like I'm not putting water on any of this, bro.
Put some water on that damn shit.
That's crazy. It sounded good, but like no, I'm not putting water on nothing.
Like, yeah, and there'll just be times where I'm doing regular day-to-day stuff and I just think about how did he not know that there wasn't any milk when he picked it up? It's just like it hit me the other day. And I was like, we have to get on the podcast and talk about how that part bothers me.
No, because that don't make no damn sense. And like first and foremost, when you're making cereal, why are you even pouring anything in the bowl before you even check your materials, right?
Right. Like, I guess they're on the side of optimism. I guess you just are so pumped and you're like, I know I got cereal. Maybe
But
you
have
just,
you ever like made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, put peanut butter on the bread, and was like, "Fuck, I ain't got no jelly." No, you take everything out first.
and you just kind of lay it out.
You get your shit together. Like that just makes sense to me.
Real
I don't
quick, what's your favorite cereal? Are you a cereal eater?
I'm not a religious cereal eater. I'm
Yeah.
on now, so I don't eat like that. However, top two, it's hard to pick one. Frosted Flakes, Fruity Pebbles, all day, every day.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes sits solid in my two spot. My number one, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is hard. That's probably my number three. But Fruity Pebbles, you got to pour the milk in there and let that bitch sit a little bit. It's crucial. You got to let that bitch bake. And then you start that shit. Then you have some crunchy, some soggy. It's a good balance.
Yeah, I think if I were to make a top three, I think it's, well, let me run off of five. So it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's Frosted Flakes, it's
Mm.
Cinnamon Life. The
Cinnamon Light.
Cinnamon Life cereal is hard.
Okay.
Okay. And then Pops. Remember the cereal Pops?
Pops. Pops was legit.
Pops was hard. That'd be my four. And I don't even know if I even like another five. Five, if I had to throw a five in there, maybe go Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms was good.
That'd probably be my five.
You know what I started liking when I got in my old man bag? Raisin Bran.
I was just gonna say Raisin
Raisin
Bran.
Bran is crazy.
Raisin Bran's only an old person cereal.
But it's fire though. Like old people was on to something there.
They was on to something.
Like raisins and milk seems weird, but fire, fire.
Yeah. No, I see. I'm not a fruit guy. Like I'm so weird when it comes to fruit. If I'm gonna eat fruit, I gotta be like, my mission is to eat fruit. I don't like fruit inside of shit. Like
Okay.
I'll eat bananas are my favorite. I eat bananas. I eat oranges. I eat all that shit. But like fruit inside stuff, nah, I can't do it. It's too much of a change.
So what about like a Nutri-Grain bar that has the fruit in there? Like you don't fuck with that?
Can't
Oh,
do
that
it.
you want some weird shit.
The only fruit flavored thing, like I can't even do smoothies. The only,
That's fruit though. That's
yeah,
just blended fruit.
I don't know. I don't like drinking my fruit. I feel like that's not the weirdest thing in the world. But
Not
like,
weird. It is.
but banana's the only thing I can get. I can get banana smoothie. Absolutely, I can get down with it.
You ain't
Anything
never had
else?
a strawberry and banana smoothie?
Not a fan.
You ain't never lived. That's all right. It's
I've
okay.
tried it. It's just not my thing. I don't know what it is.
It
You want to
tastes
know
good.
what the worst thing, my worst number one most hated article of food in the world is chocolate covered strawberries.
Well, I don't like chocolate, so
Yeah, yeah,
I'm with you 100%.
yeah.
Because
No,
like, why are you disrespecting strawberries like that?
I
If
like
I'm
strawberries. I don't like them in chocolate. It's too different to me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't disrespect the strawberry by pouring some unhealthy shit on top of it. Just give me the strawberry.
Yeah, no, that's how I figured we started this podcast off. We just talk about cereal, talk about Friday. But welcome episode 6
Woo!
of the Bench Player Podcast. Look us up on the socials: TikTok, the Bench Player Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast app, the Bench Player Podcast.
Yep.
Kind of kind of an interesting week. Music has been good.
Right?
Basketball,
It's serious, man.
yeah, basketball has been, well, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. We'll get to that. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But music has been good. We've really just been gearing up for Kendrick's show tomorrow.
I'm hyped.
It's like I'm there. I feel like
I,
I'm going.
I wish I could be going, but Amazon Prime, I'm gonna feel like I'm there.
Yeah, Amazon Prime,
Get me in
Kendrick,
there.
pop out show.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
turn on the surround sound. I'm about to go stupid. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, it's gonna be a moment. I just wonder how much of the show is gonna be referencing the beef,
It
if
won't be.
any, if any.
I doubt it. It's gonna be some. You have to. You can't ignore it. It's the first time we've seen you since this all popped off. But I doubt it'll be the whole thing. Like you're talking about in Friends too. It's like a 3 hour time frame. I imagine you're gonna start with random people coming out. Let me get some Absol. Let me get some Schoolboy Q. YG. Give me the game. And then Kendrick last hour maybe. I don't know.
I think it would be fun to make like a bingo card and
Okay.
just be like, uh, Baby Keem showing up. Boom, check it off.
Maybe Q's gonna be there. That's gotta be a free space, damn
Yeah,
near.
that's the middle. That's the middle spot. Uh, Not like us coming on. Boom. Just random shit. Somebody outside of California, outside of LA, making an appearance that was involved with the beef, like a Ross making an appearance, a Future making an appearance, something like that. Check that off. We'll see who wins bingo. That'd be fun.
Make that shit. I'm with it.
Make that shit. Um, and since we're talking about Kendrick, we're excited about Kendrick tomorrow for his show streaming on Amazon Prime. Apparently boosting streams. Tell me about it.
Boosting stream. So academics had a live stream as he usually
Oh my
does.
God. If I knew your source would have been academics.
That's enough. That's enough. But let me break it down for you.
Yeah.
So basically, dude comes on, says, "Hey, I've been getting paid." Let me break down the odd parts of this already.
Okay.
He said he got paid a deposit for 30 million streams. The deposit was $2,500. Let me tell you something. If I got $2,500,
I'm giving you that shit.
I need 30 million streams ASAP. I get on that bitch like Pootie Tang and just bring. I need my 30 million streams. But logic is that Kendrick called, put the quote in. They brought up all the YouTube pages where when Kendrick's song dropped, Not Like Us, or no, I'm sorry, Meet the Grams, 972 views within 30 minutes, which makes no sense, right? But they're saying Kendrick is paying for streams in order to boost his numbers during this beef. My only comeback with that is, have you not seen every video of kids, adults screaming "Not Like Us"?
Look outside.
Yeah, like did you ever leave the computer to go see what was going on? I mean, I get it. I did he pay for streams? I'm sure he did. Like I don't think that's that far fetched. Does that make it an issue? Not really. What
It,
what's your thoughts? Like I think that's a very normal thing to do.
it would be one thing, to your point, if it was a song that we never heard of that came out of nowhere that we don't really hear anywhere, but is just killing, breaking records. That'd be a question. But it's playing in every strip club, especially on the West Coast. I hear it's even on the East Coast. And
When's the Let's start there.
last with you,
Oh man, you gotta go. You gotta get out there.
No,
Your fundamentals. It's good.
no, but it's literally everywhere. It's the song that's on, videos that don't even have anything to do with music. It's just the kind of the theme song right now, especially if you have any type of ear to anything hip hop. It's the song. If paying for streams is a part of it, it's almost like it's not even a question. Like it's almost not even important because, dude, it worked, whatever it was. And it's
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. Let's not act like he's not one of the biggest rappers of all time. Like,
I think, and don't be wrong. Everybody who has their side of the beef has been speaking on it very strongly. I don't want to make it seem like I'm on either side or biased in the scenario. I understand. You ride for your guy, right? However, at this point, what are we doing? Like it's been a month. It's been like over a month. It's over. We all know it's over. Kendrick's on a victory lap at this point. Uh, I want Drake to release more music, but the music he's been releasing ain't getting it done for me. But I'm hearing something's coming. Let me be clear. I'm hearing something's coming.
you got
But
your ear to the streets,
I always have my ear to the streets.
aka you got your ear to academics.
I mean, not academics. Twitter is the streets every time.
Yeah,
I've never been to the streets, but when I say the streets, it's always Twitter or X, as you would put it. But it seems like Drake's trying to drop so much that it gets forgotten about, and it's just not working. But
yeah.
hey, the boy is good. It's a slap away from changing the narrative.
It would need to be it to convince me. I just need a good record. It's fine,
Give
but
me, give me control of this summer. I don't care.
no, I'm bumping controller.
Whining in the sun. I'm ready. Come on now.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's so over that I don't even think it's a possibility that Drake continues this in any way. It doesn't even seem in his favor to do so.
Yeah, it doesn't. It seems like it's over. He knows it's over because Drake's not stupid. Drake's not dumb. He knows how this shit works. Obviously he's been on the other side of this numerous times. Uh, he knows how this works, but it's I don't know. His fans are loyal and they're gonna fight for him even if he's done.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's almost like hip hop fans and the annoying hip hop fans. It
Mhm.
seems like they were almost getting to a point before the beef started that they just kind of were content with Drake. Like, hey, we're not gonna talk about him. He's gonna do his thing, whatever. And then the Kendrick beef happened, and it almost woke up that side of those fans that are like, oh my God, Kendrick killed you. It almost hurt him to engage in this beef because we've talked about it countless amount of times. There are just people out there that Drake is a pop star, Drake's a singer, Drake can't rap, and that's just in their head and you can't shake it in any way. And you can't talk to that person. We talked about that. But this Kendrick thing kind of turned those guys up to another level.
It validated what they were thinking already.
Yeah, you needed something on wax, and now it's on wax, and now we can have something to point to.
Even if it's not true, it validated their thought process.
And that's how we
Uh,
opened up the last podcast, where it's like, it sucks that it's all perception. It sucks that you could just say this is good when it's not. And that even goes into I'm a, some of these hold on. Some of the fucking Eminem comments I'm reading
oh God.
are someone said, bro's entering a new prime.
Wait, what?
That I swear on everything. And
A
I'm telling
crime?
you,
Like the drink?
I want to say someone because a Eminem and LL Cool J record leaked.
Oh shit, I heard that shit. I ain't gonna lie, I heard it and LL started rapping. I was like, okay, he kind of
He kind
getting
of snapping, yeah.
it. And then Eminem goes, I'm like, oh.
The comment, I go to the comments, right? It's my favorite. I don't even like watch shit anymore. I just go straight to the comments. And the comments was you could tell Eminem wrote LL Cool J shit. And I'm like, probably. Like, I don't think LL Cool J's like really putting pen to pad right now.
Don't disrespect L like that. I don't
No,
like that.
I feel like right now, I don't think he's got his notepad in the studio right now, is all
I
I'm
don't
saying.
care. L is still him. I think that gets
No,
forgotten
he's a
about.
legend, absolutely.
Don't
Um,
disrespect. Don't
then they're
disrespect.
like, yo, this is so fire. Eminem's entering a new prime. I'm like, yo, hey,
Bro,
I mean, my new response is, I'm glad you like it. That's my new response.
you know what? Sometimes that's what's necessary. I
I'm
understand.
glad you like it, man. I hope it's everything for you. Speaking on streams, you want to talk about Ice Spice?
Ice Spice. Come on now.
Ice
Um,
Spice. Oh, you want to preface it?
so first and foremost, Ice Spice, I don't want to say what I really want to say, but at some point we talk about our list of people we protect, and people that we're biased towards, right? I told y'all Lotto was on my list. Don't you ever beef with Ice with Ice Spice was gonna look crazy on her. So I just want to preface that I don't give a fuck what you talk.
This is what happens. This is what happens.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That's what happens, right? I saw Ice Spice video lately. She had the Lotto hairstyle. You gotta
Ooh,
relax. Huh?
ooh.
You gotta relax. You not her. I'm sorry. Continue. Continue. Continue.
Ice Spice reportedly lost near 25 million Spotify listeners. This time last year, she had 40 million listeners. Right now, she's sitting at 15 point something, almost 16 million. So that's about a 25 million listener difference. Um, my first reaction is, well, that's how it goes.
Yeah. No, I
That's how
mean,
it goes.
when I heard that, I was like, damn, she's not even a fart, based on her song. Um, just she had a hit song, right? Ever since then, the songs people still gravitate toward her. Let me be clear. People still gravitates toward some of the songs she puts out. However, it's clearly been a downslide. Um, she just doesn't make good music, man. And I understand it's not for me. Let me be clear. I understand the music she makes is not for me, but I can still feel like I can sense what's good, even if it's not for me.
You get the idea.
When you say you think you the shit, you're not even a fart, something is wrong. Like,
That's terrible.
it's
It
bad.
was terrible, but it worked though.
It did. And then she came out with the Give Me the Light remix and it was bad. Like really, really bad. Um, Shout out to Ice Spice. Keep twerking. I'm down for that. I'll give you a like.
She
But
uh
that's
she also
that
went on a thing and said she writes all her music. And it's like, clearly.
well, sometimes we're not surprised. Good for you.
Thank you the shit. You're not even a fart. That sounds like something you could write.
If you need some help, let me know. Um, I'm not dissing
You
Lotto,
you
but
trying to you trying to be the partisan Fontaine of Ice Spice?
what is like Ice Spice's fans called?
The Spice Rack?
Spice?
Uh uh the Spice Rack. I don't know.
Be the Spice Rack. I like that. I can write for her. I
The
can
Spice Girls?
I can be a videographer. I'll be a videographer. I'll fuck with that. But we know you're writing your music, baby girl. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
that was never the question. We didn't hear an Ice Spice record and say, "Who the fuck is writing this?"
no, it was
We
like
never heard.
you should have somebody else write your shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You should go get Bia's writer or whoever it was. You should go get Partisan Fontaine. Like get the dudes that are writing the female slaps.
Yeah, no,
Go get
get
those.
you need to stop writing. You can't shake your ass that much and say, "Oh yeah, I write too." Cool. Just shake your ass and get somebody else to write that shit. You got
Not
other
even not even hating nothing for people who have paid attention and have studied long enough to see, the ins and outs of, the lifespan of someone in hip hop, especially someone who is new. I don't think anybody was like, "Oh, she's here to stay." I don't think anybody thought that.
I'll be surprised. You have to take it as a congratulations that you lasted this long.
No, that's a fact.
And I
Almost
think there's
wrap it
nothing
up.
wrong with that. I just want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, you're not, you didn't have staying power, but you still kind of stayed.
It was
So
like a 2 year run. Like a two
that's
year
all.
run.
It's over, ma.
Like 2 year run is like longer than Trinidad James.
Shouldn't have came at Big Lotto. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
All
That's all
right.
I'm gonna say.
I didn't expect us to have a super big deep dive on Ice Spice, but let's get into some fives. We get into fives is what we do.
That's our shit.
Let's do, and this one's going to be interesting. This is such a broad category, and I'm not even going to say this is the top five best feature verses in hip hop of all time. We're just going to say this is our top five favorites
Mm.
individually. There's so much to choose from. There's about a 90-way tie for one. So
We're gonna
I'm gonna
miss them. Don't attack us.
right.
All right.
If I miss one, I'm sorry.
We're gonna be in the comments like you stupid mother. Relax. Relax, okay? We're just let us have some fun here.
All right. So top five, your favorite rap features of all time. Give me your five.
You know this guy was coming. I got Kanye West on Put On with
Ooh,
crazy. He went crazy. I forgot Jeezy was on the song. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Jesus. I don't know about all that.
I'm a big Kanye fan. What you want from me?
No, I respect it. And for number five, for my five, I'll do a Kanye record, but it's his record, so it's the feature. I got Jay-Z on Diamonds of Sierra Leone.
Ooh, tough, 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 tough. I
Yeah.
like it.
Amazing record. That's what I got at five. At number four, I got Wheezy F Baby. We got to talk about it. Lil
Okay.
Wayne, Welcome to My Hood.
Ooh.
Bitch, I'm on probation, so my nerves bad. Like that that's one of my favorite Wayne verses of all time. Lil Wayne, Welcome to My Hood. What do you got for four and three?
All right. This may feel like it's a little too, I guess you would say low. That could have been higher on the list. I got Nate Dogg on Regulate.
Oh, come on.
That's tough.
That's tough.
That's tough. Nate Dogg on anything. You could take out Regulate and I can say Nate Dogg on anything and it works. And then what's so three? I got another Kanye song. However, this is a Kanye song where somebody else is featured.
Okay.
New dress, Rick Ross verse.
Ooh.
He goes crazy.
No, I like the Rick Ross was someone who when I was making this list, I was thinking, who has crazy features? Obviously, you think Wayne. Ross is up there when it comes to like
Awesome.
crazy features.
And it's I feel like it sometimes gets forgotten, but he has a lot.
All right. Number three for me, I got J Rock on Money Trees.
Mm,
Just one
mm.
of my favorite verses of all time. I
That's
just
all.
hope the Lord forgives him. Like an amazing, just and it's so late in the song. I feel like people could have missed it the first go around. Uh,
100%. Yeah.
such J Rock on Money Trees. Number two for me, I got Kendrick Lamar's Control verse on Big Sean's Control. Why
That's,
not? Shake it
yeah.
up.
I trust me. I debated that one as well. I understand.
All right.
Number two, I got Wayne. We taking over.
I am the
Oh,
beast. Feed
oh,
me rappers or feed me beats.
stupid. I was like in middle school when that came
I
out.
love that's one of my like you want to talk about put a gun to your head rap song that you could rap every lyric to. We taking over.
Crazy.
Even
I
how Ti opened up that record.
that whole record's crazy.
Even Birdman, whoever wrote his shit, kind of came in and
Hopefully, I want to say it was Wayne, but we talked about this, right? Like it was tough when we made this top five to say, hey, how do we not put Wayne for every single one?
we could have done a top five all Wayne. That's gonna be the next. That's gonna be the next one.
That's
The
coming.
next one is gonna
That's
be
coming.
top five Wayne versus top five Wayne features is gonna be next episode. I'm calling it.
All right, and then number one, I got Andre 3K on International Players Anthem.
That's my one. That's
Hey.
my one. That's my one too.
Oh no, we brothers. That's all it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. A couple of things in that song. Obviously, the best beginning to a song ever,
Ever. Yeah, no.
ever, and
Feels
the
like talking to you like the day I got married, I listened to that song. Not because you have regrets or anything. It just feels like somebody's in the room while you're about to get married talking to you.
no,
Just it
absolutely. Keep your heart, Jordan. Keep your
yeah,
heart.
I did.
And then And then the way the style contrast from when 3K's done and then Pimp and Bun come on.
One of
I
the great pop songs of all time.
Unbelievable. Especially, I think people from the South understand that
Yeah.
record. Maybe if you're like New York or maybe you're LA, I don't think you understand that record like you should.
Whoever thought the International Players Anthem would be like a traditional wedding song?
That's true.
Yes, it is.
And what is Pimp comes on and says "Never fuck without a rubber," and you're like at your wedding, like,
Going
and
crazy.
now look where you're at. You didn't use no damn rubber.
Yeah, I got a baby on the way. Hey,
No, we don't use rubbers around here.
it's crazy.
Um,
Rubbers is lame.
man, I was. That's cool. We had the same one. I was thinking. I was like, so there's a bunch again. 3K. Another guy could have put like Pink Matter, 3K Frank Ocean. That's
Dude,
another one.
every song he's done on Frank Ocean as a feature is crazy. He
Yeah,
had the solo reprise crazy. It's Andre 3K. What you expect? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Honestly, Andre 3K on Life of the Party with Kanye.
yep.
Insane. Insane.
Uh,
Don't worry, that's
three,
another top five to come as well.
yeah, 3K's on a Ti record called Sorry. That
Ooh, I'm
unbelievable.
sorry. Crazy.
No, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get all in my feelings thinking about how we never got a 3K album that isn't embedded with flutes. So let's go. I mean, music's kind of light. Let's talk about new music that came out. Uh, Don Toliver, No Worries.
Crazy.
So Don Toliver, we are from Houston.
Bias.
Don Toliver has a spot. Like when you make a song, nobody else understands this outside of Houston. When you make a song about Westheimer,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna touch
I want to be clear. When I first heard that song, it was midnight and I was driving alone.
on Westheimer.
And I almost had an emotional breakdown just listening to the song because it's tough, man.
It's always funny when like Travis Scott or Don Toliver will like throw in a street name that only we would know.
Good person. I love it.
Like this is one of them mentions Bissonette. It's like you don't know nothing about Bissonette.
That's where the hoes at.
That's where the hoes are at.
Literally. Like,
Yeah, like, you got $75? Bissonette, baby.
you go crazy with $75 on this and that.
So give me your thoughts on Don Toliver's new album. It's broken down into volumes. Was it like 20? Was it like 20 songs total?
That's a four. Yeah.
Sets of four. Yep.
I'd like to understand why they're broken down that way. Uh Great album, right? Just it's all over the place. It's very innovative. It's very it feels new. And let me tell you something. When we talk about features and how people perform on other people's songs, Kodak Black. Why
Walked on that shit.
so stupid on everything? I want to understand. I want somebody to explain to me like I'm a toddler. Like Kodak Black just fits so well into so many different styles. He's been on a Kendrick album, Don Toliver album. Like he's been a little bit everywhere in so many different styles, and he fits so perfectly. But no, was it Brother Stone, something like that? It's crazy. Crazy.
Even his cadence and his flow in that song is not something that's very easy to do.
Yeah,
Like
it
he
sounds easy, but it's
it's
not.
it's the delayed flow where the punchline actually comes after when the bar's over. And
Mhm.
it's not it's hard as shit to write that, even harder to perform it. And clearly these good rappers, Kendrick, Cole referenced it. These rappers see something in Kodak.
Kodak's
They
got to
all
stay.
see something in him.
Kodak's has a very unique style, a very unique flow that a lot of other people cannot do. And I think that when you see somebody like a Kendrick, who's such a high level rapper, go and grab a Kodak, he put him on numerous songs. He had an interlude as
Yep.
well. I think that clearly there's something there that they see that maybe your casual fan may not.
Yeah. So what do you think about the album? Like what are your takeaways? I know I have a couple of notes about it.
I think that my main conversation is we got to start having a conversation about Don Toliver's discography.
Got
He's
some got some bangers in there.
flawless. flawless discography
If
so early
this
in.
if this album ends up being a classic, what we consider a classic, I think it will be. If it gets there, we're talking he's got three or four of them things.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
again, trying to maybe other people don't think it, but I for sure do.
work Houston bias, cool. Uh, but he's so consistent, so consistent. While I like the fact that he's so consistent, while also no album necessarily sounds the same.
Yeah, and this is coming off of I'll be completely honest, didn't like the last project.
Let's say his last project is my least favorite.
Yeah, wasn't big on it. It
Wasn't
was
bad, but it
it
was my least.
wasn't bad. It seemed it was very low key. Like pretty much the whole album. Well, not a whole lot of chances were taken on that album. I think that's the most politically correct way I could say it. This he's had some good projects, but this is kind of the best of all of them combined into one. Everything in this project sounded so polished. He
Mhm.
sounded like a veteran. I say this is his Astro World. And what I mean by Astro World was like we think about Travis Scott. He had really good projects leading up to Astro World. But Astro World was kind of like he had Rodeo, he had Birds in the Trap, Sing at Night. Astro World was just those albums, but he just went in a whole nother world with it. Like, I don't know what part of his brain he was working out of, but we always said Astro World was like a science project.
Yeah,
This was Don Tolliver's Astro World, where you're talking, there's some songs that are basically like rock songs, and there's some songs that go back to the traditional trap, and there's some songs that are more like low key, actual, like almost R&B like love songs. It was like what we just did the top 5 albums of 2024. The two albums so far of 2024, the two albums that came out this past Friday, I think already have spots in that five for me.
working in there. 2024 has been a great year for hip hop,
It's
and
been unbelievable.
I will say that I do believe that. Uh, I think if we go through the top five albums, they've been good, but not at the level. When you look at the top five albums that's come out so far this year, or top 10 albums, you may not think, "Hey, this is one of the great hip hop years." But it's there, but it lets me know that so much more is coming, which is I think somehow we're gonna get a Drake album this year. I think that's
Really.
coming. If not, maybe early top of next year. I think we're getting a Kendrick album this year.
Mm.
I
We're
think
getting a Cole album.
definitely getting a Cole album for sure. I
Big
think a lot.
Sean's coming.
So when Big Sean comes, we're getting a Kendrick album, so that's a good thing. I don't know. Big Sean's that's a whole different thing. But there's just so much more music to come. I think 2024 shapes to be a fantastic year in hip hop.
Yeah. And then let's get to the No Worries album. We got Anderson Pack and Knowledge. Man,
Can I
this
say I had no idea this was Anderson Paak until obviously we got into the verse and I was like, this sounds like Anderson Paak. I was like,
why
what?
is Anderson Pack on every song?
Yeah, I was like, he's not listed as a feature. This is weird. Uh, but no, amazing.
Yeah, it an absolute vibe. Some of the best layered melodies that I have heard in a very long time. Shout out to Earl Sweatshirt catching a verse and a good one at that. Um, no, this I love the formula that they have because it's almost like the features that they bring in, like the Her record, the
Mhm.
Charlie Wilson record, the Earl Sweatshirt record. Those are like the big productions. Like they're like the finale of a TV show. Then their songs, and I'm talking about, Knowledge and Anderson Pack, them being No Worries, that their songs are almost like interludes.
Yeah.
Like the feature records are these huge productions, so many different people, so many different layers of melodies and choruses and bridges, and then you almost get a break and they'll put a low-key smash of a record, just like super low-key, super simple instrumentation beat of just a nice rim, a nice snare with some nice keys. and a nice sample, and Anderson .Paak for about a minute and 50 seconds will just put this little amazing song together. And then after that, it's another huge production. Then we go back to it. It's like watching this album was like a TV show. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable. Like I said, that and the Don Toliver album, these two projects, they're gonna be in my top five, I think. Like whatever we did last week, and we did the top five albums of
man.
2024 so far. Like 21 Savage is out of there,
Oh
gone,
no, 21 Savage is gone. Sorry,
gone.
it's
Like
over.
with these two coming out, no way. Just literally a fantastic listen. I listen. My wife was trying to put the baby to sleep, and I probably wasn't helping by listening to music right next to her, but she was, doing her thing with the baby and was like, who is this? I'm like, this is Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak and this producer, they're in a group and they put out this album. And she was like, the samples are crazy, and the choruses and the layered choruses are unbelievable. The Her record was a smash. Earl Sweatshirt caught a body on the verse um, towards the end of the album. Amazing project.
Big Haley, no ball. I understand.
She was like, "Who?" Like when you're listening to something that someone else is playing, you already don't give a shit. But then someone's like, when it makes you stop and go, "What's happening here?" That's what it is.
I know you got something.
You ready to get into some basketball?
The
It's
end.
over.
Hey
But
man,
if you're a fan of bad teams, this is kind of where your season starts.
100%.
It's like the off season is where that's where you develop your hope.
Draft is
Um,
already. Jesus. It always
um,
comes quick, but it always surprises me when it comes. It's like, Jesus Christ, we're here already?
uh, just some closing. It's so sad. Some closing sentiments about this finals, this playoffs, this season. What are your takeaways? How are you feeling?
Finals didn't shape up to be as good as I would have anticipated.
It
Um,
wasn't it wasn't that entertaining at all.
and that was a little bit of a letdown. Um, Playoffs were decent. I think we all thought we were going to have a bang bang playoffs, which at some point we did. I think your best series was Denver and Minnesota. I think your best surprise team was the Knicks. They looked great. I hated to see them get
Or
hurt.
the Pacers.
The Pacers, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
That would be next. That'd be on my list. The Knicks sucked because they were so banged up. That's what made it tough to watch.
The East, I wonder if we never know what's going to be the storyline for the future whenever we look back. I wonder if people will look back on this Celtics playoff run and remember how hurt the East was.
Yeah, it looked like a
But
cakewalk.
Giannis gone.
Hurt.
Dame missed multiple games. Brunson hurt. Julius Randle never showed up. Halliburton hurt. The best players of
Yeah,
the East hurt.
these guys, these were the best players on the team got hurt. Um, you play who's in front of you, right?
Yup.
But the Celtics seemed like they went on a cakewalk. Everybody got hurt, and they got to the finals, and Kyrie forgot he was a basketball player, um, except for one game. So tough. I will say I've never seen a player look so shook as Kyrie looked in Boston,
That
which
was disappointing.
that was a shock. As after all that crap he was talking, after
See you back for game 3 or like whatever he said.
game five,
Yeah, see
game
you back
five,
for game 5. Yeah.
hey, they made it to game five, but he looked like ass. So very disappointing. But hey, it's the finals. It is what it is. The Celtics. I picked the Celtics from the beginning, right?
You did.
The Celtics are like a complete team from start to finish. They didn't really need Porzingis to win that finals. That's
No.
probably the scary part about it. Because if you get a healthy Porzingis, who else can they beat? You have to think that the Celtics are got to be a favorite to repeat at this point. The West has some teams I think can compete with them, but the East, maybe the Bucks, but I think we saw from this year that you have to have a complete team in order to beat some of these guys. And the Celtics have the most complete team in the NBA, it seems like.
No, you're right 1,000%. I think if I were to put a number 2 team, I think Denver's up there.
Yeah,
But and I said when we were talking many podcasts ago, I said I think the only team that has a shot to beat the Celtics is the Nuggets, and the Nuggets we didn't get to see it. Nuggets didn't get there, but you got to give it up for the Celtics, honestly, because this isn't a bought championship. This is a earned championship. The the path to get to the finals, you can share your concerns there, and I'm not going to disagree with you if you feel like it was too easy. But me and you say it all the time. Availability is a part of a championship.
absolutely. You
How
got to
healthy you can stay is part of the championship.
be. This looks different if Jaylen Brown gets hurt early.
And
So,
one thing we cannot say, no matter how they got to the finals, one thing we cannot say, they played a team that deserved to be there in Dallas. You got the
right.
second best player in the league in Luka. You got
Hmm.
Kyrie Irving, which we all know how he showed up, but we all know what he's capable of. And PJ Washington, a good third scorer. It's not like they had it easy. The Celtics are just stacked like that. They have two star players, and it's really interesting when we talk about star players because Jason Tatum, before this playoffs, he's the best player on the Celtics, and he's top 7, top 8 in the league. I don't think that's a stretch to put Jason Tatum. I'm talking prior to everything that transpired, like going into the playoffs. Jason Tatum on people's list is will be very generous and say top 10. But then Jaylen Brown arguably plays better than Jason Tatum. So if Tatum's 10,
I don't know if you can say arguably
if
Eastern MVP and Finals MVP.
well, I don't agree with the Finals MVP, but that's me. But if Tatum was a top 10 player and Jaylen Brown plays better, well, then you got two top 10 guys on a team. That's great. And then Drew Holiday, elite defensive guard who had huge games in the playoffs, and they just acquired him. Porzingis
Huge
adds
game.
fuel to the flame, but he wasn't really there.
Yeah.
Derek
But
White, who was an afterthought coming from San Antonio, they developed him into like a Swiss Army knife type of guy. Just a absolute team win. Uh, Kind of what you see if you draft right, you commit to them, you commit to the player development. This is what happens. You get these two guys that have played together for all these years. You see it all come to fruition right now.
yeah, shout out to Brad Stevens. I mean, I think that's kind of a big portion of where this comes from. And I think we talk about how bad Kyrie looked, how off Luca looked sometimes. We can say, hey, you showed up, you look shook. Part of that is Celtics playing amazing defense, and
Amazing.
that can't be overlooked. They showed up. They didn't let their foot off the gas, with maybe the exception of Game 4, but man, did they keep the pressure on them. If you watch any of those games, it just looked like how the hell are you about to score against these guys?
Right.
So shout out to them. That's all you can say.
Absolutely. And I wanted to kind of talk about the Finals MVP. Do you agree with Jaylen Brown winning the Finals MVP?
Yes, I
I
think he's
think I
consistent throughout
don't.
the finals.
I'm sorry. What was that? I'm sorry.
I think he was the most consistent throughout the entire finals, without question. Uh, Tatum looked great in the final game, which if you look at recency bias, I see how you could come to that conclusion. But there were times where, don't get me wrong, I was very happy to see Jason Tatum do other things other than score when he wasn't hitting, but he looked really bad for a few games. I think that Jaylen Brown had a bad game, don't get me wrong, but we talk about consistency, not only defensively, but offensively. I can see how Jaylen Brown, because he made Luca flustered through a good chunk of this finals. So I can't be mad at that choice.
I'm not mad either. I don't. I think there's definitely a conversation for Jaylen Brown. I think the race was close, which means
Absolutely.
in the world of hip hop and basketball, if it's close, it damn near can be either one.
Yeah.
It really, if there's a conversation, then you can basically say it's one or the other. Um, I don't want to compare, and I realize us posting our content online, there are a lot of Jason people don't like Jason Tatum on the internet. They don't like
Which
him.
why? I don't
I don't.
understand.
They hate Jason Tatum. They hate him on the internet. So I guess I'm gonna tap into those fans, and they can come back and yell at me. But we not, and I say we. I'm talking about basketball, just the regular basketball fan, not really me or you,
Yeah.
but basketball fans go crazy over the triple doubles. And
Yeah.
I have been the guy to say, I don't care how many rebounds my point guard gets. I've never been that guy, but I'll put it this way. If the roles were swapped,
Hmm.
Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic is putting up Jason Tatum's numbers, Kyrie Irving's putting Jaylen Brown's numbers. I think Luka wins finals MVP, no question.
Well,
Not a question.
I think Luca. Well, okay, I could agree with that.
And
I'm with
that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. I don't like that when we judge a player, we're like, oh, this is my grading system for this guy. But then when we move it to this dude, it's changed. That's not the same grading system. I don't like that. And if the Dallas Mavericks would have won the finals and Luka puts up Tatum's numbers, Kyrie puts up Jaylen Brown's numbers, Luka would have been the unanimous MVP because people would have been talking about how well he play makes and how it's not just his shooting percentage, it's how he gets others involved and how they score. I don't like that Tatum was robbed of that opportunity, but again, it was close. That's just how I would have put it. Jason Tatum's the first guy in playoff history to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists and not win the MVP. It sucks.
I
I
mean,
feel for it. But
game.
he let it be close, and that's on him. And again, I don't want to take away from Jaylen Brown. It's just I feel we're primarily focusing on the shooting percentage and scoring of Jaylen Brown, and that's fine. But we're choosing to ignore the greater picture here.
Well,
Because
that's.
then what are we talking about? The game where Boston got destroyed, Tatum played better than Brown. Brown played awful. He didn't even show up.
Tatum also played awful, so that's why I guess you can't really combine that.
So Tatum had the best game and Brown had the worst game, but Brown wins. Like, and it's an easy decision. I'm fine if you want to say Brown. I'm not disagreeing. It's not what I would have done, but who the fuck cares, right? But
Yeah.
I just feel I feel that like the grading system isn't equal, it's not even, and I don't like that someone could have been had some hardware taken from them because of, oh, this guy shot a better percentage. We're not
But
talking
I'm
about
gonna go about that.
assists, you know.
Let me ask you this: do you think defensively, do you think Jaylen Brown played better than Jason Tatum?
I could see it. If you want to say that's fine. Yeah.
But I'm asking you, what do you think?
Yeah. It's cool.
Okay. So yes, Jaylen Brown had the worst game. I agree. Did Jason Tatum have a better game? I agree. However, game one, game two, Jason Tatum didn't look great. Um,
Shooting the ball.
Shoot the ball, which
Yeah.
which counts, right?
It
He did,
only is counting so much in this conversation, and that's my point.
but I think game one, game two, Jaylen Brown shot the ball better and did some of the other things better as well.
I think Tatum is more responsible for the points on the board if we're talking about that. If we're talking about assists and
Okay,
points combined with the points.
I'm
It's
with
not
you.
like he was putting up 4 points. Like he was like 18 points, 13 assists, like it was like that.
No, and I get you, but I think
He
that
didn't
there.
shoot. He wasn't very efficient from the field. I get that.
So, but I think even when you look at it, I think that Jaylen Brown was consistent. I think that's the biggest difference in the world. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just talking about purely consistency.
Yep. And
Tatum,
I get that.
Jason Tatum surprised me with how well he passed the ball, but I got the same Jaylen Brown every single game except with the exception of game four, which I feel like you almost have to balance that out because everybody played like shit in game four.
Yep.
Uh, Jason Tatum had a better game, but he had like 15 and 5. Like that's what are we doing? Everybody played like shit. So I want to cancel that out damn there. So I think that Jason Tatum had the better game with game five being the better game. But outside of that, Jaylen Brown outplayed him every other game.
Yeah, I think it's just it's you everything you're saying. I'm with. I get it. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I just think it's because it's Tatum that's this conversation. I think
I get
anybody else, it's a completely different conversation. They would all in any other debate, all they have to say is in the game in the closeout game that mattered, he showed up and was the best player on the court. That's all anyone else would have to say, and they're like, cool, that's the cool debate. But with Tatum, it's so different for some reason.
and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I just disagree with that logic that, oh, well, you showed up in the last game, so you got to be the finals MVP. That's not true. I don't.
So how you just worded it is like assuming that he is like you're indicating that he didn't show up other games. Like the game where he doesn't shoot well, he's still showing up and he's putting
Yeah.
up double digit assists.
And I'm not saying that, but when I put it like this, if I outshine you 3 games, but the last game you outshine me, I don't think you deserve the finals MVP.
And but so like I think there's game one, you want to give it to Jaylen Brown. I'm completely okay with that. Game two, I think it's closer. I think it's
Okay.
close.
I agree. I
And
agree.
then then there's the consistency from Jason Tatum's playmaking. I think needs to be discussed near the same level as Jaylen Brown's offensive consistency. But I'll say Jaylen Brown played his ass off. The race was close. There's not
Keep
a
in mind,
loser in this situation.
keep in mind game 3, Jaylen Brown clearly outplayed Jason Tatum.
Yeah, right. And
So
then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and then the on the closeout game, Jason Tatum played probably his best game in the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
In the game that mattered, that had the most weight on it. Because if the
Oh,
Boston, I mean, Dallas is coming off of a insane spanking, you know?
you know that happens.
Yeah. And like, I think there's some weight that needs to be put on the guy that shows up and says, okay, I'm going to make sure this shit doesn't fucking happen again.
Yeah.
And, led the entire offense. Again, I'm not at all saying Jason Tatum got robbed. I don't like that could be a conversation about it. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of conversation about it, especially like on the interwebs, because there's like a weird Jason Tatum. And I don't want to seem like a Jason Tatum fanboy either, but like it just seems weird that there's so much hate towards Tatum, and he didn't help himself with the screaming at the end, trying to be like Kevin Garnett. Did you see that?
Yeah, he tried to recreate every NBA historic moment.
That didn't help him. That didn't help him at all. But
That you're like, I get it. Okay, I understand.
shout out to the Celtics. Um, if I was the decision maker, I would have given it to Tatum, but it was close. And like we say, if it's close, it could damn near go either which way.
I think
Uh,
typically when we think about the Celtics, to your point, Jason Tatum's supposed to lead the team. Jason Tatum's supposed to do this, do that. I think when it's close, your other guy's typically gonna get it
well,
because it
maybe.
should because it shouldn't be. I guess is my point.
Probably for this topic, I should have researched other Finals MVPs to kind of compare, but I didn't.
Yeah. Other
But
final MVP stats look way more insane than they did this year for Tatum and Brown. So it's gonna look
yeah,
different.
and I don't think we're ever really seeing such a close race either.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
we talk about Giannis in his championship run with the Bucks.
No
Chris
question.
Middleton had a lot better games than Giannis in that playoff run.
Mhm.
Like when they were in the playoffs, we were like, Chris Middleton's the closer on this team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but then when the finals came, Giannis kind of turned back into Giannis, and then people were like, "Okay, I'm cool with that. If you want to take a couple of fourth quarters off in the first and second round of the playoffs, we're cool. Just be that guy in the finals." I will say Tatum wasn't that guy in the finals, but he showed us a side of his game that I think is underappreciated. And I think if if the shoe was on the other foot, anybody else, if LeBron was in Tatum's shoes, if Luka was in Tatum's shoes, they're winning Finals MVP. But that's just me, and I don't like hypocrisy. I really don't.
To your point,
So
I haven't
let's
seen this close as of recently.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Um what's next for Dallas, man? I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I will always point out when I'm biased, when I kind of ride a wave, ride a hype train. I will always point out when I feel like I let the moment get the best of me.
Yeah.
And I've been on this podcast and I've said Luca and Kyrie are the best duo in the league. That
Woo!
seems silly now, but I'm like, okay, I've watched this playoffs and I've seen how Kyrie and Luca work with each other, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, this is something special.
It
Um,
looks right. It's hard to say that it didn't look like that at some point.
exactly. So I want to ask you something.
Mhm.
Kyrie turns 33 next year.
Yeah.
People have agreed with me when I've said Luca and Kyrie best duo in the league. I didn't get a whole lot of pushback there. Seeing what you saw with Kyrie this playoffs, do people overrate Kyrie?
It's recency bias, yes, obviously. Um, but I mean, we talked about it. You can't look that bad in the finals. He looked like a role player majority of the time. There was times where freaking PJ Washington looked like the second guy. Um, I don't know, man. It's one thing I would say is Kyrie just looks so inconsistent. You can't give me a 20 or 12 point, 14-point game and give me a 35-point game. Like, which one is it? There's times where he just looked like game five, he looked useless out there, man. It was embarrassing. It's just like, okay, we were making you these great comparisons, putting you up there. We've seen you shine with LeBron. And now it's like, you look like Tim Hardaway out there.
Well,
Like, what are you doing?
Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm assuming.
Tim Hardaway Jr., not Tim Hardaway. I wouldn't
Yeah, I was
disrespect.
about to say that's fucked up.
Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect him like
Like he
that.
might want to be Tim Hardaway.
I mean, maybe, but you sure
um,
was there, game five, this whole finals, basically.
I was looking at his stats in the playoffs, and I mean, he didn't by any means have. I mean, he shot about 39% from three. He shot about high 40s. Like nothing was out of order to where you'd be like, this is where you fucked up. Great from the field, great from three. I think he averaged 22, which is 22 is nice.
It gets better.
Um, him turning 33, seeing what we saw in the finals, how confident can you be going into next season as Dallas fans or even Dallas's front office? Because me and you agree, we talked about it before. Dallas has got to run it back, right? Same team. There's not you made it to the finals. Y'all just started playing together consistently. Kyrie's not missing a ton of games. So y'all are just now figuring things out. I can't imagine Luca himself strikes fear into teams because he's that good. We all know that. He's top 3 player in the league. Any of those guys is going to be like, that's going to be a tough night. So Luca does it. But after seeing what you saw Boston do, and mind you, Boston is a top-notch defensive team, are teams really gonna fear Dallas with
Uh,
seeing what we saw?
I mean, you got to run it back. They only got half a season together. And your hopes is that people like Lively, Gafford, and Washington get better next year because they're young guys. So that's got to be your hope. You got to hope that as the same thing. We watched Kyrie play with Luca the first year. It didn't look great. Year two, it looked fantastic. You have to hope for that same thing. You just run it back. See if you can get some extra pieces to come off the bench and go back for it. Because it's what are you really going to do if you don't do that? I guess is the question.
Right. I don't see them like trading Kyrie. That's not what I'm saying. It's just
Doesn't
he's gonna be 33, and when you get to 33, you're either in your prime or you're starting to plateau a little bit, and then the decline comes later. I guess a roundabout way to ask what I'm saying is I have a hard time visualizing Dallas improving with this same roster. I can see them getting to where they got, maybe the conference finals, but I don't look at Dallas and think championship team, honestly, because Kyrie is going to be 33. Luca, he gets banged up deep in playoffs. Like
Yeah.
if you're, especially when you're going having game 7 series or you're doing shit like that, Luka gets, his body gets banged up. He's rolling on the floor. He's crying at the refs. It's a lot of energy, man. And
I gotta
PJ,
think hope that Luca comes in more in shape this year.
I've seen a lot of comments on his weight.
Because I was looking back at some of the previous years, like the couple years ago, we played the Clippers in the playoffs. He just looks so much more agile. He looks like he's moving a little bit better. Now, does he look off? No, not necessarily.
He's
Obviously,
fucking hooping.
he's hooping, absolutely. But when we say in shape, it's something that will hold up a little bit better going further into the year, as well as stop bitching so much to the refs. He looked like he learned Game 5 because he wasn't bitching like that. It was kind of all right, cool, move on. There was a couple like what the fuck, but it wasn't. There was points in the game where he was causing the other team to score because he was sitting back complaining to the ref. That can't happen. From your best player, that just it's unacceptable. You have to be better than that. Things are gonna happen. Refs are gonna miss calls. We all know that's the NBA. However, when you not only try to draw a foul, you don't get the foul, you miss 2 points there, and then you complain to the ref and miss 3 points or 2 points on the other side because they're playing 5-on-4, there's a problem. Not that he's the greatest defensively, that's the other side of it. You got to at least guard something defensively. He looks like he's not even trying. There's it's tough because Luka looked great throughout the playoffs, but there's just so much more to be desired.
Yeah, and it's maybe teams are just playing him so specifically, but his 28 or almost 28.9, so 29 points per game is the lowest of his playoff career out of 4 years. This was his lowest. His 3-point percentage was 32%, which was the lowest of his playoff career. Shooting from the field, 44%, which was lowest in his career. So he didn't have, and it was still watching him, it was an amazing performance. Like that, I don't think we should be saying anything about Luka's performance. He was the best player on the court in every series.
We
Um,
need him to be himself, and he kind of wasn't.
he
What?
seemed so bothered, like the pressure was
Yeah,
something.
it seemed like it got to him, which you have to think that that gets better if we do this again because he's been through it. Like I said, in Game 5, it seemed like he learned. I can't. He played better defense. He didn't complain to the refs as much, so you just have to hope he get learned from it. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I just, as a basketball fan, it just kind of seems like there's a formula to beat Dallas. Like, oh, frustrate Luca, shut down Kyrie,
Good.
they're gonna fold.
Nobody else is going to step up. So, and that's like I said, that's why you got to hope that these other younger guys get better because when that happens, I need PJ Washington to be able to give me 20 points. I need Derek Lively to be good on the boards and be able to give me 10, 15. I need Gafford to be able to be shut down on defense. That's what you need, but didn't happen.
Right. So let's get off of the Celtics Mavericks talk and let's go 5 NBA players who have the most to prove entering this coming season.
I love it.
Um, I'll get it started off. Number 5, I got LaMelo Ball,
Okay.
a almost forgotten about talent.
Yeah.
Even from like a fantasy basketball perspective. After his rookie year, this dude was going top 5 in drafts, like top 10. This dude is an amazing talent, had an amazing run whenever he's on the court, plays for a bad team, plays for a bad GM. Either you're going to make something happen with the Hornets or you're auditioning for the next team that's going to trade for you.
Yeah.
And he's got to get healthy. He's missed, or he's only played 58 games the last 2 years.
Crazy.
That's insane. So hopefully he gets healthy on a really bad team. They got a young stud in Brandon Miller. I think them two will be solid. I think Miles Bridges is probably leaving. So, and you're not attracting any free agents. So he's got to show he can lead a team to look halfway decent, or we're talking LaMelo Ball trade packages. Who you got at your 5?
5. I got Damian Lillard.
Ooh.
I think we talked Dame, that who's been seemingly so that superstar that just didn't play with other superstars, that uh felt like, oh, I'm that guy no matter what. Obviously, health is a portion of this, right? Like we don't want to undermine that. But it looks a little funny in the light this year. So I think that there's something to prove there. At 4, I got a combination. I got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Yep, that's a good one.
They look terrible in the Suns as a group. You can throw Bradley Beal in that mix. I don't have a lot of hope in Bradley Beal, but I gotta say KD and Book is my number 4.
Yeah, no, it's almost like, okay, we got this together. We were able to pull this off, get this roster together. What are we doing now?
Yeah,
And then also age is also another thing to think about with Kevin Durant. Like,
absolutely. It's Father Time never fails unless you're LeBron.
right. My number 4, I got Zion Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
In the offseason where you could see Brandon Ingram get moved.
Yeah,
Zion, it's you, man. You signed the big deal. You got to get your body and your health right. And we got to see if you can be the number one option superstar scorer. And it really sucked that he got hurt in the playoffs. I would have liked to see what he could have done.
looks so good.
The first game looked amazing.
Looks so good. I was like, oh, this is the Zion we've been waiting for. And then he got hurt. It's tough. Happens, but it's tough.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, anytime you just go crazy, we're almost expecting you're gonna miss the next game with, an
Absolutely.
ankle or a knee. I understand, but we need to know how much can we rely on Zion. So my number 3, I got Jalen Green
Mm,
of the Houston Rockets. If no if no extension is this offseason, which I don't think there's going to be an extension, this is a contract year.
yeah.
Are you a number one option or are you not? That's Are you going to be able to lead a team or are you not? And I think this is going to be the year we find that out. Are you just going to be, like I said, my draft comparison for Jalen Green going into the year was Jordan Clarkson. I said, are you just going to be a Jordan Clarkson? And his numbers kind of get inflated because if you put Jordan Clarkson on a bad team, I mean, on Utah, so there you go. But if they straight up said, you're our superstar, we're going to feed you the ball all the time, Jordan Clarkson can put up Jalen Green numbers. It's about his situation because the last year and the year before, Jalen Green's the guy. So he can put up 20, 22, 24. He can. Is that a realistic expectation? Are you going to be the captain and lead a team, or do we have to go in another direction? That's my
He was
Jalen Green.
so good in March, and then April fell off a cliff.
Right.
So I agree.
Who you got?
Uh, so number 3, big shocker. I got Luca.
Ooh.
Reason for it is kind of some of the reasons I spoke about. How seriously are you going to take playoffs when you get in that situation? Because I think we talked about it. He just didn't look like he was taking it very seriously. When you don't get back on defense, when you're complaining so much to refs that you're giving up points on the
Fouling
other,
out.
when you're fouling out, that was
On a
embarrassing.
game that was, if you ball like we think you could ball, you could have won that game.
This is a 3-2 series
Yeah.
going to game 6, but we gave up that moment. Way too crucial. Something's got to change, right? And I think obviously with Dallas, there's probably a couple of things that do need to change. But Luca, you have to lead that change. I need you to come in healthier or more in shape, rather, and I need you to just have a better attitude. Refs are gonna piss you off. So what? What are you gonna do about it? Bitching is not gonna fix it. And can you just guard a traffic cone? Something. Like you got to do something. But anyways, number 2, I got Jimmy Butler.
Ooh.
Jimmy Butler has proven himself in the playoffs. However, has not been able to get the deal done. Jimmy Butler is aging. He's probably what, 34, 35, or 34, 35, somewhere around that age. Now having a very hard time staying healthy. What does the Heat look like going forward? Jimmy Butler comes with this attitude. Jimmy Butler comes with this the audacity, I guess you could say. and we haven't won anything, right? Now he's had to carry a huge load with Miami, and the most team can't stay healthy. But I think this year is either make it or break it. If Miami doesn't move him this offseason, you're getting so old that it's either now or we got to move you to try to build something else.
Yeah, because they have the young pieces. I mean, you got Tyler Hero, you got Bam. Jaime Jaquez was a great rookie.
Absolutely.
Like you got a team,
It almost makes sense to move him for somebody that fits that timeline a little bit better.
and it's like your health. He always has been a guy that's gonna miss a pretty decent amount of games for management because we all know he goes crazy in the playoffs. So the Heat's not really saying, "Yo, play all 82 games." They're like, "Okay, just play what you can and just make sure you're healthy for the playoffs." And we even saw issues there. It's just for my logical brain, like dudes this late in their career don't get healthier.
Yeah,
They just
absolutely.
don't. So
Problems prior.
yeah, so yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
Okay.
My two, I got Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
Another kind of the reasons I talked about Zion, I talked about Jalen Green. Obviously, Jalen Green, Cade, same draft class. We know that you're nice, healthy. You're a beast. Can you stay healthy? You're on a terrible team.
Terrible.
But it gets to a point where if you're such a stud, you should be winning some games.
Correct.
You
Absolutely.
should be winning some games.
Does
But
your play result into winning?
we haven't really seen that from Cade. Even when he's healthy, he doesn't win his team games. Mind you, that roster and that coaching staff and everything there is shit. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's why he's number 2 on my list because I definitely think we need to see you healthy and we need to see you. I'm not saying you got to make the playoffs. I'm not saying you have to be this turn Detroit into a playoff team, but in a way, kinda. You know,
Win plus games. Let's start there.
yeah, like you and Duran, Ivy, you have a young nucleus, but Cade Cunningham, if he's going to sign this mega extension, which we think he's going to, and he's going to stay in Detroit, you got to win some games. It's kind of what I was saying about LaMelo at the same time. Like, you're on a bad team, but it gets to a point where you're supposed to change that superstar, you
Yeah.
know? Like, you're supposed to turn the tide, and we need to see it from those guys. Jalen Green honestly has the best argument there because he took a bad team. They signed some pieces, got a new coach, but he was the primary scorer to a team that went 500, 41 games. That's what we want to see, right? Cade Cunningham and LaMelo has shown zero signs of that. So that's why Jalen Green was lower on the list than these other guys. And then my number one,
See if you got a rematch.
I got Kawhi Leonard.
Ooh, okay.
Are you gonna be there or not?
Okay.
Like, are you go? Can we say if we have a series against the Mavericks, if we have a series against Denver, if we have a series, can we say that you're actually going to be there or not? And then we could talk. Then we have a whole other conversation that we didn't write down that I want to talk about. But can you be trusted in any type of forward thinking, long run type situation? You get all the money. You're known for being an elite player when healthy. You are never healthy. That Clippers team could really be all my number one. Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, that whole team can be my number one. But I'm sticking with Kawhi. Are you done or no? Like, I just need to know. But that's my number one.
Oh, I got a haircut, so that may change things.
What do you get? What do you get? Fade?
Got a nice little fade. That's it.
Ooh.
Might be over for the league. That's all I'm gonna say.
Buzz
Right.
cut Kawhi going crazy.
Number one on my list. I got.
Uh-oh. Ja Morant, bang, bang, bang.
Can he put the guns down? Step one. John Morant, number one. One, Anthony Edwards has taken over your spot, damn near. um,
Hey, that's not a bad comparison there.
it's John Morant has proven himself to be great in the playoffs, be great throughout the season. He's been pretty healthy. The only problem is his stupidity. when it comes down to it. So it's a great talent. I love him on this Memphis team. I wanted to see him with Marcus Smart because I just thought they'd be a great trade off with a little bit of attitude. Jaren Jackson is continuing to be great, but he can't stop doing stupid shit. That's what it comes down to.
And then when he came off from suspension, he got hurt, and he's been healthy like his whole career. But
So
then
what happens next? I think is you have a lot to prove. I need you to have a good year. You have to have a good year. If you don't have a good year, this starts to look a little funny.
it's at least we better not see any type of
A gun.
Instagram. We
I
don't
don't
want to
want
see the gun emoji.
I don't even want Mike Breen to say bang when you make a shot. I
No,
don't want nothing.
no, no, yeah, no. That was a good one. He's someone I really considered at the same time, but
I want him to be good. That's the part that bothers me. It's like
he's
I
so
love
good.
I love his style of play. I love the way I love the way he plays. I love the grittiness he shows. I feel like his grittiness fits the team he's on, but it's just can't beat yourself.
1,000%. So we got our, and so let's talk about this. Is a unscripted, unprompted conversation. We talked about it in text, not on the pod. How do you feel about these players that could not play for their team in the playoffs, but are playing for the Olympics? How do you feel about that?
If you're a fan, if you're a player for my team, sit your motherfucking ass down.
I don't know if I'm completely unrealistic or I'm weird or I'm thinking too much into it, but Giannis could not play in the playoffs. Kawhi could not play in the playoffs. Halliburton could not play in the playoffs at a super important time when the Pacers were basically almost beat Boston every single game. Halliburton wasn't there. But then they're going to play this summer. I don't like it.
And I get it, you're healthy now, but fam, do some extra stretches, do some extra working out. Sit your ass down. Like I
I'm
don't want to.
trying to think, and obviously they could do whatever the hell they want to do because, I mean, they're the best players in the world. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do. I'm trying to think on how you can appreciate that from a fan standpoint. I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to be extra ready for the regular season. He's going to be extra ready because he's going to get this run in the Olympics. He's going to be extra sore.
Yeah,
He's going to miss more games.
extra risk of injury. It's not worth it. I
I
mean,
don't.
it's not worth it when you cannot stay healthy. Let me be clear.
Yeah, like anybody else wants to go and play. I'm cool with it. If Mikal Bridges wants to play for the Team USA, go ahead. These
I
guys
just,
that don't have injury issues, go ahead. But even if you've had injury issues, but it was good this past season, I'm cool with that too. You know, like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had a 75 game year last year. Go play for Team USA. You earned it. But these dudes who in the playoffs couldn't play, but you're about to play for some shit that I don't want to get on some like anti country pride, but like it doesn't matter, you know? Like
yeah.
what matters is these rings and the best league in the world.
And I'm
That's
paying
what matters.
for it.
It's just it. I'm sitting here and I don't have a horse in the race. There's not a player who I'm a fan of that I think shouldn't be there. I've never had this issue, but like I could think of when we rep Houston. You know, when Harden would go play for Team USA, we're cool with that because he didn't miss games.
Yeah, he
He
stayed
didn't miss
healthy.
games. He was always was a healthy guy. Um, Anywho, I'll jump back from my soapbox. Last thing we have to cover is we got the NBA draft coming up. That's fun. That's fun times. We talked about who we think should go top 5 last podcast. Today, I want to talk about who is your sleeper, meaning a guy that maybe is a little lower on the draft boards
Okay.
that you think could pop off. I did extra work and I made a starting 5 because I have too many in my head and I want to go off my starting 5. If that's cool with you.
Well, give me your starting five. Let's go.
Okay. At point guard, I got Devin Carter out of Providence.
Mm.
This guy's an efficient scorer, a good playmaker, and he rebounds at an elite level. He's 6'3", averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. at Providence. The reason why, if you depending on which big board or which mock drafts you look at, he's about the fourth or fifth point guard coming off the board, and I think the gap is closer than that. I don't think there's a huge difference between him and the number one guy. So I got Devin Carter, point guard out of Providence, as my point guard. Shooting guard, I got Terrence Shannon Jr. He's been in the news because he had a sexual assault case that was super viral, but he was just found not guilty. So that really helps his draft stock. He's a lengthy two guard, serious transition threat with his speed. He's been shooting NBA threes at the college level. He shoots them super deep, and he's 36% from three. Averaged 23, 4, and 2 at Illinois.
Whew.
What he was almost going to go not drafted because they're like, oh my God, he has a sexual assault case. But found not guilty, beat it 5 days ago. So I think teams will take more chances on him. I think he's a legit two guard. He has a interesting shooting motion. So I think teams don't really like that. But we see with Tyrese Halliburton, shoot however the fuck you want to shoot, right?
It goes in, it goes in.
At my first forward, I got Jalen Tyson from Cal. He reminds me a lot of Jaylen Brown, who also came out of Cal. Love his jumper. He creates his own shot, as well as he creates for others. He pulls up from the top of the key off the dribble and has a beautiful form, high release, shoots great, averaged 20.7 rebounds, 4 assists at Cal. I got him at small forward. Power forward, one of my favorite guys in this draft. I got Deron Holmes the second out of Dayton. He's listed at 6'9", looks a lot bigger than 6'9". It looks like he's a 7-footer when he's on tape. Quick on his feet, has a quick drop step to the basket. He can stretch the floor. He shoots 38% from three on 2.5 threes attempted per game. He averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists with 2 blocks per game. At 6'9", I'm saying he looks 6'10", 6'11", so I don't want him to come off as undersized. I think he's a beast. At center, I got Khalil Ware out of Indiana. Plays above the rim. He has some moves in the post. He's a lob threat, catches and dunks. He's, above the rim type of guy, but he has some moves in the post, and he keeps his eyes up in the post and finds passing lanes and gets other people involved. Averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists with 2 blocks, 58% from the field at Indiana. That's my starting 5. Those are guys I'm looking out for on draft day.
I love it. And let me say, we talked about this guy before. However, through further research, I feel like this guy deserves the investment. Nikola Topic. Come on.
Topic.
You got to wait a year. Let's be real. If you want to play smart, wait a year. But how many teams on this list can wait a fucking year and be all right?
OKC's going to get him, and he's going to wait a year. And then when they decide Josh Giddey's trash, he's going to step in. And at 6'6", he can play pretty much 1 through 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, he's slated to go to Toronto at 19.
I like him in Toronto.
I do like him.
But they're one of those teams that maybe can't wait. I mean, unless you want to just be bad for another year.
I mean, I feel like he fits perfect to a team that either A, is so bad that, like, who cares? We can wait.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have a team that has a stockpile of people that they can kind of sit on them for a second and it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm thinking Oklahoma City snags them. I don't know where Oklahoma City's. I'm assuming they have multiple first-round picks because they've stockpiled first-round picks for forever. But I imagine OKC picks in the middle of the first round somewhere. And they pick 12? Yeah. 12 might be a little high for him.
I was saying that might be too early.
But if OKC, they can do the Josh Giddey thing for one more year. I don't think that's going to work out. But they get Topic, and he sits for a year, and then comes back next year, and then he can play next to Shea and Jalen Williams and Chet. Woo! So let me chill out. But no, before ACL injury, I thought he is number 1 on my draft board. No injury, he's number 1 on my draft board. I think he's the most fundamentally sound best player in this league, best player in this draft class, and I think he has fantastic size. 6'6". If you want a shot to get, I'm not saying he's Luka, it's not what I'm saying, but if you want to jump on this Nikola Jokic, Luka, hype train of getting these dudes overseas that just know the game very well. I think he's one of those guys.
What do you think is which I think would make sense? A team that has two picks in the top 10, San Antonio taking him with the eighth pick. Early, I agree, but how well would he fit with that crew?
So good. It would be so good. It's just I don't think you can a team as bad as San Antonio. I mean, if you got 210, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, with the two picks, it makes a difference.
I think he go mid late teens.
I
I
can see
think
that.
8 might be a little crazy, but I think he goes mid late teens. I looking in this draft, I've done nothing but just study the past few months and I say few months, 2 months. Um there's some dogs in this draft. The big consistent theme, there's a lot of really good defenders in this draft class. Like the guards that are going, the two guards, the 2/3s, those guys are they're not a lot of great shooting in the draft, but these guys are dogs defensively. And I think we're that's gonna be the theme. We're gonna get a lot of solid defenders out of this draft. I'm excited for it. But yeah, that's my five. I got Devin Carter out of Providence, Terrence Shannon Jr. out of Illinois. I got Jalen Tyson out of Cal, Deron Holmes, the second out of Dayton, and then Khalil Ware out of Indiana. Those are the five dudes who I'm really going to be looking out for, and I think they're going to produce in this league. So, and you know me, I've been known who was bigger on Sengun than me.
That's fair. That's fair.
I spot it. I spot it and I call it out. I had Sengun before the draft started. I said Sengun's the best player in this fucking draft. I don't know, probably didn't say that, but I was like, he's the dude to look out for, and he's hooping. But yeah, man, always want to talk about the NBA draft as we are. Was
Almost
it next week? Next week? Next week? Yeah. So it's 27, 28 or 26, 27.
26, 27.
26, 27. So so our next pod, if we're doing it Tuesday, will be the day before the draft.
Yeah.
We got to get out our final takes. Maybe we'll do something spicy. Maybe we'll do like a mock draft or something. Do like the lottery. Do like the lottery top 15.
I like it. Let's do it.
Maybe do the first round, something like that. That sounds good. That's what we'll do. All right. Well, we got nothing else on the agenda. Any words of wisdom you want to add before we take off?
This Clipper show is not good.
I didn't watch the new episode. Did you watch the new episode?
Not good.
Does it get better?
No. That's all I got. I love basketball's over. That sucks. We're closer to football though. Hey,
Getting pumped up.
Watch some WNBA. Support the women. That's all I got.
Yeah, and fuck Rudy Gobert, right?
Always fuck Rudy Gobert and Doc Rivers.
And Doc Rivers.
I'm taking this as he produced his show personally, and it's trash. So fuck Doc Rivers and Rudy Gobert simultaneously.
Yeah, and you're unlocked now.
Character unlocked.
Character unlocked. Yeah. So we do realize we saw the comments that said you was wearing a black shirt and you have melanin.
This comes out on Juneteenth. I just want to be clear. So that's all I'm gonna say. It wasn't bad feedback, but relax.
No, we appreciate the feedback, but dudes were saying that you look like you weren't unlocked yet because you get to fading back and you're wearing a black shirt, you're a black man, and it's light, dim lit in the room, you kind of look like, you're just a shadow.
Y'all can't afford me right now. That's all it was.
But
I'm here now.
Character, you're the character unlocked now. We can you are playable now. But don't play with him though. I'm sure we'll be watching the Kendrick show tomorrow. That's exciting. And
real
throw something on the grill. I don't have a grill, so I'll just be looking at what you're cooking.
Facts.
And we'll get out of here. We are the Binge Player Podcast, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Sir.